I will allow him to do so as we now proceed to the business statement. I call the Leader of the House.
Thank you, Madam Deputy Speaker. With permission, I will make a short business statement about an addition to tomorrow's business. Following the statement by my right honourable friend, the Secretary of State for Northern Ireland, the business tomorrow, Thursday the 1st of February, will now be a debate on motions to approve the draft Windsor Framework Constitutional Status of Northern Ireland Regulations 2024 and the draft Windsor Framework Internal Market and Unfettered Access Regulations 2024, followed by a general debate on miners and mining communities, followed by a debate on a motion on freedom and democracy in Iran. The subjects for these debates were determined by the Backbench Business Committee. I will announce further business in the usual way on Thursday.
Shadow Leader of the House, Lucy Powell.
Thank you, Madam Deputy Speaker. Can I thank the Leader for the update to the business and for advance sight of that of her announcement. As my right honourable friend, the Shadow Northern Ireland Secretary, has said, we welcome the decision of the Democratic Unionist Party to return to the Northern Ireland Executive following their negotiations and subject to commitments given by the Government and to legislation being passed. And we also thank for their forbearance and cooperation the other parties of Northern Ireland. This is a very important moment. We warmly welcome the progress made so far, especially for the people of Northern Ireland, who have been without their government for almost 2 years and without government for 5 of the last 7 years. I welcome the publication of the command paper and the statutory instruments, and that the business be changed tomorrow so that we can speedily consider these matters in the timetable set out, notwithstanding that I'm sure other members will want time to consider them. I just ask the Leader if she could let us know whether she anticipates there would be further consequential legislation necessary on this matter in due course, for example, in establishing the internal lane or other such matters. Thank you.
Well, can I thank, as the Honourable Lady opposite has done, all parties who have been involved in getting us to what has been described as a historic moment. It is a good thing for the people of Northern Ireland that this is happening, and just place on my record my thanks to everyone who has been involved. And I thank the Honourable Lady for welcoming, understandably, the change of business tomorrow. With regard to her sole question, set out in the answer is yes, and it is set out in the command paper.
Robin Millar.
Mr. Speaker, I thank the Leader of the House for making provision for a debate on these papers tomorrow. And we have before us those 2 papers, and they address a wide range of issues: the movement of goods within the UK, the internal market, the place of Northern Ireland within the UK. Each one of these has been subject to multiple lengthy debates in this House. Would she consider then, please, making time for 2 debates, one on each draft statutory instrument, in effect at least doubling the time then that members have to consider these matters before the House?
Well, I thank the honourable gentleman for his question. He is right. There has been a tremendous amount of discussion around these issues on the floor of the House. As the Secretary of State acknowledged earlier on, standing orders protects time for debate on statutory instruments to 90 minutes. I'm sure that he knows how to apply for a debate if he wants particular debates around particular topics, but standing orders will protect the time tomorrow.
Deidre Brock.
Madam Deputy Speaker, there's little to add. It's a short statement, of course, but I did, and there will be more discussion on this tomorrow and on this latest legislation, but I did want to place on record my own welcoming of the progress that has been made in this, particularly as a former Northern Ireland spokesperson myself. There is, of course, much to be done, so may I also send, Madam Deputy Speaker, my sincerest best wishes to all those in the Assembly as they hopefully soon step up to their places and to their great responsibilities to the people of Northern Ireland.
Thank you, Madam Deputy Speaker. I thank the Honourable Lady for her support in this matter and certainly very much welcome her party's support too.
Paisley.
Thank you, Madam Deputy Speaker. So, just to be clear, we're presented with the United Kingdom's internal market piece of legislation and a Northern Ireland constitutional law piece of legislation and 80 pages of a command paper. With the best will in the world, we'll get on to this around midday tomorrow. The maximum time possible will probably be 3 hours for all of that. That is insufficient, Madam Speaker, for both the front benches to debate this and for all of the backbenchers who will have an interest in this matter to properly scrutinise such legislation. Is there no opportunity to extend the proceedings to allow for a more lengthier consideration of this legislation?
Well, I thank the Honourable Gentleman for that question. He will know what is set out in standing orders. I do appreciate where he is coming from, but I would point him to the comments the Secretary of State made a moment ago about the external timetable that we also need to keep pace with.
Jim Shannon.
You, Madam Deputy Speaker, and thank the Leader of the House as always for the business statement. Further to that point of my honourable friend and colleague, I'm very conscious that the other debates that are coming after us, the Millar's debate and the Iranian freedom and human rights issues, probably had hoped to maybe, I understand there's quite a few speakers. So with that in mind, Leader of the House, I'm very conscious of what the time that is necessary for the Northern Ireland legislation, ever mindful that it is really important that we get it sorted, with no disrespect to the other two debates. So that timescale of 12 to 5, is it humanly possible to have that, all that is the legislation that we need in Northern Ireland and the two debates, they actually take place?
I would say to the Honourable Gentleman, welcome to my world. We are trying to accommodate all parties, and indeed there was an additional item on tomorrow's agenda with regard to Select Committee statement, and we are talking to officials about how we can accommodate that also tomorrow, and I hope to update the House on that later.
Sammy Wilson.
Thank you, Madam Deputy Speaker. Is it not a fact that now this government has got the Assembly on the fishing hook, that it really doesn't care any one iota about scrutiny of the bait which has been used to get the Assembly? And I would suggest that having got the command paper through the House today, having got a commitment for the Assembly, really this government doesn't care two hoots about whether or not there is sufficient time to see whether the promises they're making are going to be fulfilled.
Well, I have great respect for the Right Honourable Gentleman, but I think he is wrong in that assertion. There will be many strong feelings on all sides of this House about various aspects of where we have got to, but I think the comments that were made from all sides of this House during the Secretary of State's statement point to the fact that this is an important step forward, is to be welcomed. It is inevitably a compromise, and people have had to compromise to get here, and I applaud them for doing that. I know that there will be future debate on these matters. I know that the government front bench will be very happy to answer any of the points that the Honourable Gentleman makes, and I would point to my honourable friend on the bench next to me to say he is an example of conviction and passion and determination on the issues that the Honourable Gentleman cares deeply about.